Good morning, students. Today we are discuss about the very sensitive topic. Uh, that's why they are called the name sensitive analysis. Generally, in any industry or company, the decisions are taken by very frequently. Means, and you just go means when you just freshly go inside the office and you just see many people are running here and they are want some related or related data um, related data and because these data are required by the management persons for the taking of some decisions, either the project acceptable or not. So at that time, it is necessary to know about the sensitivity analysis. Okay. So business activities are operated under the dynamic business environment. Dynamic business environment means it can be just means they are very much active and more precise about the current situation, and they are also analyze the future expansion. Okay, which are not predictable. Thus, the business decision have to make under some uncertain and risky environment. मतलब क्या हुआ कि बिजनेस डायनेमिक बिजनेस इन्वायरमेंट वो होता है जहाँ पे आप फ्यूचर के लिए कुछ भी सर्टेन डिसीजंस ले नहीं सकते। वो सब कुछ अनसर्टेन अनिश्चित होता है और एट द सेम टाइम वो रिस्की भी बहुत ज़्यादा है बिकॉज just say at the in the in the mutual fund or share market when you just take one share and after a few minutes the share price has been going down and down and down. So that business is called dynamic business because they are not predicted either the company share goes up or down, and this is the most risky part. So sensitivity analysis is a mathematical model. It measures the proportionate change in independent variables and its impact on the dependent variables under the given set of assumptions. Means many times when you take a decision for acceptance of any project for your company, ultimately they are directly or indirectly uh, change the environment of your company. Okay, so in a capital project analysis, the change in the discounting factor will affect the discounting cash flow and the evolution of capital project in arriving at the select or result decision. That means if you just put your hand for the big project and at that time the companies saw uh, your cash flow is always in the downfall manner, so it will ultimately affect the company profit and loss. The sensitivity analysis is an information based on techniques which consider what if situation to develop various alternative scenarios on the business situation. Okay, means it is the technique based consideration or analysis where what if means what are the alternatives available for that project or that company you have chosen for your best existing facilities. It is also described as one at a time (OAT) or one factor at a time (OFAT). OFAT. Remember OFAT or OI. by keeping all the factors unchanged, and the changes in the key variables are studied to measure its impact on the output or performance. Generally, out of the given set of input, one of few key inputs variables are tested one by one, keeping all other input factors constant. Generally, the sensitivity is measured by the percentage change in input and its percentage change in output. Mathematically, higher the value of gradient, higher is the sensitivity. Means the degree of sensitivity is equal to 1% chance in output upon 1% chance in input. There are many definitions published by different researchers. First definition is the sensitivity analysis is a technique used to examine how independent variable will impact on the dependent variable under the given set of assumptions. Second, the sensitivity analysis is the study to measure the impact of fluctuation in the parameter of a mathematical model or a system on the output or the performance of the system. The sensitivity analysis is used to illustrate and assess the level of confidence that may associate with the conclusion on economical evolution. And the sensitivity analysis is the study of uncertainty in the output of a mathematical model or a system. It may be either quantitative or qualitative, can be divided and allocated to different sources of uncertainty in input. The process of sensitivity analysis. The sensitivity analysis is measured by testing the robustness of result wherein the uncertainty in input is present. When the inputs are more diverse and have interdependency, when the sensitivity analysis becomes complex and the output of performance may be unreliable. Means the process of sensitivity analysis is one at time or one factor at a time. Under the analysis output of a general input variable, the effect of one of the output is measured, keeping all other input variables constant, and thus one after the other limited key variables are tested. Okay, that means you can use two relevant calculations involved here. First calculation is calculation of percentage, means I1 minus I naught upon I naught into 100, means I naught is the origin and I1 is the reverse input. The reverse input minus original input upon original input into 100 for calculating the percentage. Similarly, sensitivity factor is equal to pure unitless factor is the percentage change in output upon percentage change in input. For example, if the input are increased by 10% and the output are increased by 20%, then the sensitivity will factor will be calculated by 20 upon 10, that means 2. Okay. These two factors indicate if the input are changed by 5%, then the output will change to 10%. The 4 steps for process of sensitivity analysis is as under. First one, to calculate the output with a given most likely input. Let us consider it denoted by given variable 1, keeping all other factors constant, and then change the output with another input variables. Let us call V2, keeping all other factors constant. Then after calculate the percentage change in input and output, and then after find the sensitivity factor by the ratio of change in output over percentage change in input. Let's take one example. A simple sensitivity analysis of a capital budgeting decision is explained as under. The initial cost project is 34,000 rupee. Estimated life of the project is 3 years. Terminal salvage values for 400, and the project net operating cash inflow during 3 years is 1200, 1500, and 1000 for first, second, and third year. Then the company estimate the cost of capital of 10%, but it is likely to go up to the 12% or can go up to the 9%. Calculate the net present worth under most likely 10%, high cost of capital 12%, and reducing cost of capital of 9%. Also measure the sensitivity of change in input on, on output. Okay. So first, the cash flow at three alternatives will be given by at 10%, 1200 into 0.909 plus 1500 into 0.236, and 1000 plus 400 is the salvage value into 0.826. This 0.9, 0.826 and 0.826 we have already calculated in the previous slides. Okay. Similarly, 1200 into 0.893, 1500 into 0.737, and 1000 plus 400 into 0.716. We are getting for 10% 3486 rupees and 20%. For 12% 3263 rupees 90%. And at 8% we are getting 0.926, 0.857 and 0.794. We are getting 3,508 rupees 70%. So the net present worth are at 10%, 12% and 8% is 3,486 minus 3,400. We are getting 86 rupees 20%. Then we are getting for 12% is 136 rupees 10%, and for 8% we are getting 108 rupees 70%. Now the sensitivity factor will be calculated using the following formula for all three alternatives. Percentage change in net present worth upon percentage change in cost of capital. So we are getting 3,263.90 paisa minus 3,426 rupees 20 paisa divided by 3,426 rupees 20 paisa. And this is called I1 minus I0 upon I0. Okay. So we are getting minus 3.97. Percentage change in the capital is 20%, and the risk index is minus 3.97 divided by 20, which is called minus 0.99. Similarly, at 8%, percentage change in net present worth is 3.17%. Percentage change in cost of capital is minus 20, and so the sensitive index is 0.159. So the sensitivity index for 12% and 8% will be as under. That means it should be concluded that there are several independent variables like cost of capital, operating cash flow for 4 years, estimated project life, and terminal scrap value, etc. Here we have test only one factor, taking all other factor constant. At the same time, the same type of analysis can be carried out by all the other input variables by keeping all other factors constant. So, the uses of sensitivity analysis. It measures the causes or logistic relationship between the numerical change in input and its impact on the numerical change in the output. Thus, it helps in decision as per the objective function. The second use is the business has to operate under uncertainty and the result the risk of the decision. Thus, it helps in managing business risk arising from the business uncertainty. It helps in predicting the output within the physical bodies. Thus, it assists in future planning. Similarly, while formulating the long-term strategy, the risks are managed within the capable risk boundary of the business. It compile the managers to identify key and sensitive variables and to manage them smoothly and intelligently. The sensitive input variables or parameters are controlled significantly and effective to arrive at the desirable solution to a problem. And ultimately, it facilitates the credible and understandable solution of the problem. And lastly, it helps to identify the nature of error in the modeling. The error in the sensitive modeling is subjected to certain error. It makes the output incorrect and misleading. Means many times some uncertainty errors are come that is the incorrect and misleading output. So error of the model should be identified and it should uh, verify and control. Some area errors are data input error, computational error, correction or interdependent input, non-linear relationship between input and output, and generally the sensitivity model consider unrelated output. So the existence of multiple output give erroneous result. Okay. Today we are just finishing here. In next lecture we are discussing about the break-even analysis. Okay. Thank you very much.